Stay tuned for the latest message excerpt from Impact Church.
All right, it's good. So I'm going to try and dig us out of a hole. I'm going to try and dig us out of this murderous situation that we're in, and we're going to get all the way to love, all right? All right, you going to track with me? We're going to get to love. But we got to deal with this. We got hate, we got murder, we got all this stuff, but we got to get us to the place of love. How many say, help me, Pastor, get me out of this hole you dug me? All right, here we go. Here it is. Let's go. Number one, hate precedes murder. Hate precedes murder. Genesis 37, 4, 5, and then 18, we got Joseph and his family, and Joseph, it says, and this is awful that the father had that kind of divided heart, but it says the father loved Joseph more than all the other brothers, and they saw it, they knew it, so they hated him. You don't have to hate your brother just because your dad loves him more. That's not his problem or your problem, but they decided to hate him. You got that one, Julie? You've lived that? You feeling that sometimes? Are you confessing now? You're the favorite. Oh, well, that's good. I'm the favorite too, so I never had a problem. But the father loved him more, so they hated him. Then Joseph had a dream about being really special, and he told his special dream to his brothers and his father. So it says, and they hated him even more. So that went on. It says, even before he came near them, here's the one they hated, they conspired against him to kill him. Now, thankfully, one of the brothers intervened, and instead of killing him, they just faked that he was killed, gave that bad report to his father, and he got sent off into slavery. Man, but you see, all I want to show you here is just, it's all over the Bible. You can look at cities of refuge and all these other places, and even the statutes on what happens to murderers. When you study, go do a word study on murder and hate. They're connected in the Bible, because murder is preceded by hate. Number two, anger precedes hate. Anger precedes hate. So, wow, Genesis 4, 1 to 8, and Cain was very angry. I mean, he brought a sacrifice, and God said, hey, come on, you know what to do, you can do better. And he accepted his brother's sacrifice, so he's mad at his brother, and he's mad at God. And instead of just addressing his own personal issue, let's blame everybody else for this. And you know what, I'm so annoyed with you, I'm just going to take you out. So sure enough, anger precedes hate. It says, and Cain was very angry, his countenance fell. God says, chill, man, sin's at the door. And he said, hey, Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and he killed him. So anger precedes hate. Are we tracking okay? You're all right? I know we're all resurrection and truth and glory and wonderful. And now, oh my goodness, Pastor, what are you doing to us? Let's go. I just want to say this about an offense always precedes anger. An offense precedes anger. But now, how many have ever seen water boil on a stove? How many have never seen it? I don't see it often because we replaced the kitchen with a drive-through, so we just have a window. The pizza man just drives around the house now, and that's not true, I'm just kidding. Cheryl's the best cook ever. When I can get her in the kitchen, it's really, really awesome. Don't get offended, I'm telling you, because you get offended right now, it leads to murder, so we don't want to get there. All right, so it's bad stuff. So water boiling, all right? So do you know that the heat comes, there's more heat, there's more pressure, there's more pressure, there's more heat, there's more heat, it's more pressure, more going on. All of a sudden, isn't it amazing? It's 100 degrees Celsius. They decided that 100, when water boils, it's 100 degrees Celsius. Poof, water just starts to explode. Boom, boom. It doesn't even matter if the heat goes up. Water is exploding at 100 degrees Celsius. You can't stop it. Water will blow up at 100. Boom, it's off the chart. Poof, coming out of the pot. Water boils. When it gets to 100 Celsius, I can't take it anymore. Poof. And that's what happens. So how do you stop water from boiling at 100 degrees Celsius? Actually, the only way you're going to stop that explosion from happening is not having water in the pot at all. Then you can turn the heat up all you want, and you're not going to have anything going on because there's actually nothing in the pot. Now, if you are the pot and you've got anger in you, that anger will manifest if the pressure gets turned up enough. And the only way to not have, I don't know about you, but I've had a couple of boiling experiences. It's not funny, Deborah, it was messy. Just all heads bowed, eyes closed. Anyone else want to confess they might have boiled? Chuck, you've never boiled. Now, Colleen, because of the Doritos, she's called several times. She's boiled. But you know, what we got to do is we got to get rid of what's in the pot. So I got to realize that it's not the stuff around me. It's not that it got really hot. It's that I got something in my pot that's blowing up. And it's still there. And if I don't address it, if I kept it down, and I don't deal with it, sooner or later you're going to get in a place where that's going to manifest. And because your emotions come out of your subconscious and they're involuntary, sometimes it happens and you didn't even mean for it to happen. And when it's all done, you're going, poop. Why'd that happen? But you know what? You got to deal with it. You got to deal with the anger. So where's anger come from? Anger comes from an offense precedes anger. All right? Mark chapter 6, 1-3. And many hearing him were astonished. Say astonished. They were astonished, saying, where did this man get these things? Where did he get these things? And then they said, isn't he the carpenter's son? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, he's just a carpenter's son. And he's coming in here all eloquent like and telling us all his business. And they were astonished. It says, but then when they thought about it, they were offended. And when they got offended at him, Luke chapter 4, if you read that, it says they were filled with wrath. And then that wrath overflowed to where they literally took him to the cliff and wanted to kill him. So literally, it all started with, it was a Sunday morning service. And they said, Jesus, would you like to do the reading today? And he said, sure. He came up, took the scroll that was for that day, opened it up, and he read, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he has anointed me. And he started to read this whole messianic thing. And then when he sat down, he said, it's fulfilled today in your hearing. I am the Messiah. And they went, what? Kaboom, you're a carpenter's son. We know you. I babysat you, changed your nappy. And they wanted to throw him off a cliff. I always thought that word astonished was interesting. Here, I'll show you the word astonished. The word astonished means to strike, to expel by a blow, or to drive out or drive away. I used to think astonished, man, he was teaching so good that it was so cool. But they weren't really, it's so cool. They were literally starting to foam at the mouth. I want to beat you. I want to expel you. I want to drive you out of my presence. That's what was going on. So you know what precedes all of this stuff before you get to the point where you want to throw somebody over a cliff? It starts with getting offended, which leads to anger. And if that anger is not dealt with, it leads to hatred. And if that hatred is not confronted, you end up, don't do it. All right, good. Say thank you, Pastor. That was good. So today it's fulfilled. You're give me another slide. Here we go. Number 4, unfulfilled expectations precede offenses. Unfulfilled expectations precede. Have you ever gone to a restaurant, expected a good meal, and you got a crappy one? Did I say crappy in church? Did I? You ever gone, you expected something to be good, and you're taking friends with you, and you're like, you're going to love this restaurant. You show up, and it's miserable, and you're just like, oh, my goodness. And then what do you say right there when you're walking out the door? What do you say? You say, I'm never coming back here again. Because that wasn't at all what I expected, I had one time the keg. I love the keg. But I went to the keg and I got this worst piece of prime rib. It was like carved off the end. It just flopped on my plate. I was like, what am I doing here? But anyways, you have expectations. Folks, the problem is we have expectations. We expect people. We expect situations, circumstances. We expect performance. We expect things to go a certain way. And we get offended when it doesn't go the way we thought it would. John the Baptist, he sent us, here it is, Jesus came to the town where he's in prison. His own cousin, John the Baptist, is the one who said, behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. I must decrease, he must increase. I'm here to usher in his ministry. Jesus comes to town to do a revival in the town that he's in jail. He's in jail, his cousin's in jail unjustly at that town that Jesus came to do 7 days of meetings. And when he got there, he never even visited John. I mean, if my cousin was in jail anywhere and I showed up and was doing 5 weeks of business, I'd say hello. But John, the cousin of Jesus, not even a visit, not a word, didn't even send flowers, nothing. So here's John. He's like, man, here's how far it went. John said, somebody go say, are you the Messiah or should we look for someone else? Because if you're really the Messiah, you should at least visit people in jail. Even when it's your relative. I mean, if you're really the Messiah, you stink. I mean, this is a crisis for this guy. He says, are you? And then what does Jesus do? Jesus says, doesn't even talk to them. He says, watch this. He heals people. He sets people free. He ministers to people. He manifests the kingdom. He says, go tell that you see the kingdom in manifestation. He sends them back. And then Jesus says this. He turns to the crowd and he says, blessed is he who is not offended at me.